see you all.
Morning.
Annette told me after the last time I was here that I wasn't quite loud enough, so I'm going to endeavor to be loud enough today. If you cannot hear me, give me a thumbs down, and I will raise my voice. I am an only child. I did not learn how to yell, and I did not learn how to fight for food. So, should we come into a situation where that's needed, do not ask me to help because I will be useless. Okay, I thought today might be fun to talk about how to change your mind. And I'm going to go over why it matters, why it might be a good idea to change your mind. I'm going to offer some suggestions about how to. And we're also going to talk about deconstructing linear thinking, which is actually more fun than it sounds, I think. So why should you change your mind? When your mind is in what can be called a gap between gears, that's when it's most open and receptive. It's when you're most fully present in the now. And that is where opportunities, peace, and miracles can manifest. So if you feel unhappy in some aspect of your life, if you have unfulfilled dreams or desires, you feel like there's more to life than what you're experiencing, or if you just want more miracles and for life to be more fun and easier, then this could be a path for you. Mr. Edgar Cayce taught that spirit is the life, mind is the builder, and physical is the result. So what he was saying was spirit, which is the flow, okay, that's the highest divine energies, okay? Energy is always moving, it's infinite supply, it flows through everything. The mind is like a connector that resides between that and your physical life experiences. Ideally, the mind would be open, and like an open tube, okay, so that can flow right through. But so often it gets closed up like this, things have a hard time getting through. And so it's important to keep that, you want to keep that connection open. The more open, the more present you are. The easier it is for you to receive, the more you receive. And then it begins to feel more comfortable. It feels safer in that place of now, instead of in the past or in the future trying to prepare and correct and do all of the things that our minds want us to do. So it keeps you more in alignment with those higher energies. And as I said, it's easier to manifest what you want. In Buddhism, the natural state of the mind is peaceful abiding. It's also known as equanimity or an equanimous mind. The mind doesn't jump and hop around. It just peacefully kind of is there, flowing, and most receptive at that time. So Mr. Cayce also reminded many times, be consistent, persistent, and patient with yourself as you begin these practices. If you don't already, here's some more tools for you. The how-to. Now, I know there's like a million different practices out there, and you are probably doing at least some of them. These are just some additional ideas to strengthen that opening and receiving state of mind. The first thing that I think is really important is to use a shorter measuring stick. We are taught almost from the very beginning upon our arrival here that, you have to work hard, you have to strive, you have to succeed, you have to do this by this time. If you don't, then you're not doing it right, or you're not good enough, or something. And that is absolutely not true. Our innate nature is to be light, to be love, power, and presence. There's no way we can be less than with that. So when you use a shorter measuring stick, it makes it easier to succeed. This is not meant to be an Ironman competition. It's meant to help you succeed. The more success you have, you see yourself succeeding, oh, okay, then you succeed some more, okay? It's meant to be that flow. Saying yes more often. And I know that can be difficult too, because we're also taught that you have to be responsible, you have to do the right thing. This is the responsible thing to do. This is the right thing to do. But your heart may not be saying that. Your heart may be saying, no, it's over here. And And so it's difficult sometimes to push past that resistance and say yes to opportunities that you might ordinarily have said no to. And that can actually delay your good. However, it can also be viewed as showing you, okay, well, you're gonna do your way until you realize that that's not right for you. And then at that point, divine management takes over, and again, you're back in the flow. Does that make sense? Okay, good. So it's important to do that yes. Start saying yes. Unless your heart says, no, this is not a good opportunity for you, try it. What have you got to lose? Say yes, because you don't know where it could lead. Here I am. Now, there's a really fun tool that I know that some life coaches use this tool, and it helps you gain a fresh perspective on things. It also helps you release the heavy energies that can accumulate from familiarity and dissatisfaction. And this is when you have a situation that you're uncomfortable with, you don't like. You have a job you don't like. You have someone that is, irritates you for some reason. To pretend that this is the very first time. Pretend this is the first time you've met this person. If it's the first time you've met them, you know nothing about them. And all that heaviness, all that judgment, all that irritation falls away. And it leaves you in that open space. You're ready to receive something, a different perspective about them. Same thing with a job. You know, maybe it's an awful job. Maybe you don't have something to go to. Maybe you do have something else to go to, but you're not, if it's not ready for you yet. Again, walk in those doors that day. This is the first time I've come into this office. It's the first time I'm doing this job. And everything old and heavy will fall away. Same thing too for here. Everyone here, if you've been here before, what if this is the very first time? You've never seen me. You've never seen Annette. You've never seen the inside or outside of this building. What if you've never even been to this area before? You had no idea it even existed. Wow. Can you feel that difference? You feel how that lightens you and it expands you. You're ready to receive even more. And it's important to tag that with even more, because when you say, I want this, which is fine, there's a difference between saying, I want this, and I want this, even more of this. You see the difference? When you say even more, you're claiming that you already have. Because we do already have in our innate nature, our true nature, we already have. So when you claim that, it's like the universe goes, oh yeah, here's a bunch more. Say when. Asking what if. I think this is one of the coolest tools we could possibly use in the entire universe, in any universe, is to ask what if. Because you are going beyond everything. Don't be afraid to question. Literally question everything. Everything. That's how some of our greatest inventions came about. People said, what if? What if I do this instead of that? What if I say, you don't know what the heck you're talking about. I'm doing it this way. Here's some examples. And these are good things to help build your connection to your higher self, that innate self. What if you really are fully supported by Pure Source in every way, in all areas of your life? What if you really, truly are fully supported? How would that feel? Think about ways that you've already experienced that support. I bet if you start writing them out, you'll find out you have a longer list than you think you would. What if people who behave badly are actually teaching the rest of us how not to behave? That creates a different perspective on that being. It's hard being a bad guy. And I believe Casey may have said that in one of his readings. It's hard being a bad guy, because everybody literally hates you. And they can see how terrible you're behaving. And what we can be doing is learning instead, oh, don't do that. Don't behave that way. That's not good. It changes your mind. It expands you. It opens you. You become more receptive. And by the way, it doesn't mean that you're condoning that bad behavior. You're simply seeing it from a different perspective in a non-judgmental way. What if you let go and allow divine management to handle XYZ without my help this time? I don't know what to do. You're going to have to do it, and I can't help you this time. Maybe next time I'll help you. As if we are any help at all sometimes to the universe. How does that feel? Letting go is scary. It's very scary because, you know, you're taught you have to do it all. We don't have to do it all. The more you let go, the more you are open and receptive, the more the universe can do. You have to be in that space, and you have to be comfortable in that space. And here's the thing. The more you practice opening your mind and being receptive, that expansive feeling, the easier it becomes, and the longer your hang time. It's like being on a trampoline. You jump and you come up, and you have some hang time and you come back down. And you bounce again and you come up. Well, this time you come up higher and you have a longer hang time. And you do it again and you come up even higher and you have a longer hang time. It's the hang time in between. You get longer and longer periods when you're in that gap. When it's safer to be in the now than it is to be in the past or the future. Does that make sense? Because a lot of people are taught, or we believe, that, oh, once you become that way, you just stay that way. And it's not permanent because we're in physical bodies. There's all kinds of stuff bombarding us all the flippin' time, all the time. Even the monks, the folks in the monasteries and the temples, every day they have the same human mind that they're working with. I don't know if you're familiar or not with this incident that happened, I believe it was this past Thursday in Thailand, that an 11-year-old boy was driving the family's truck and he ran into a Buddhist procession. 9 monks were gone. You can bet that those monks are dealing with that. Okay? You can bet they've got all the grief and all the pain and all the sadness to process. So don't think that it's once you get there, I'm here. No, you've got to keep doing, you've got to keep jumping on that trampoline and get that space, and that's how we ascend, energetically. So now here's something fun to think about. Okay, we're going to switch gears a little bit. We're entering into the fun phase, sort of. But here's something fun to think about. We're looking at what if. We're questioning everything, literally. We're not going to judge our thoughts. Don't judge your thoughts. Don't judge your questioning. Don't judge it. Be in that space of wonder. Did anyone watch, it was a TV series many, many years ago. It was a British series, limited. It was called Gallivant. Did anybody see that? If you can find it, watch it, because it's hilarious. It is a story of a king who did not want to be a king. And his castle was being threatened and taken over, his kingdom. And he and several of his close people left. And the whole series is their adventures trying to get him, first of all, to mature, because he was very immature for a man. He just didn't want to be a king. He wanted to be a child. He wanted to be playful. And so they're trying their best to help him mature and take this responsibility that he needed to have. And throughout the series, he had a pet that appeared to be a lizard, and he kept it in a pocket. But except he told people it was a dragon. And the first time they get into trouble, he says, I have a dragon. And everyone goes, all right, well, get it, you know, and he pulls out this lizard. And this lizard just sits. You know, they always have that look on their faces like they're so bored. Oh my God, now what, you know? And everybody just goes, that's a lizard. No, it's a dragon. And his name was Tad. So that got me to thinking, you know, Florida is hip deep in lizards. And I'm looking at these little things and I'm going, you know, they look like dragons. Seriously, they do. And the eastern dragons have no wings. They fly without wings. They fly by magic. These little guys got no wings. Oh my God. So I started calling them little dragons. It gave me a new respect. And you know, they're not dumb. They're smart. I lived in a house for many years down here, and the garage, there was boards in the garage where there were hurricane boards. And there were some lizards that lived on it, and there was one I could tell it was older, you know. And this thing would get on my car, And I would pull out and go, you know, a block, and here was this thing on my car. I'm like, no, you can't be on the car. I didn't want it to fall off and die, so I would drive back. As soon as I got into the garage next to the boards, bloop, it would hop off. It knew what it was doing. But let me tell you, the look on that animal's face, it would kind of hunker down and kind of dig with his little toes, and it would lift its little head. It was like it's enjoying the breeze. It's like, wow. So don't underestimate the little dragons, okay? And here's the other piece of this. We don't know where we are really in the Earth's evolution. We do not know where they are in their evolution. Is it possible? What if? What if these are juvenile dragons from a different dimension? Because guess what? We're multidimensional. There are 13 different dimensions that have been identified, believe it or not. Okay? There are different dimensions. What if they came from another dimension? This is where they spend their juvenile years. When they mature, they leave. We don't know that. They could very well be dragons. So just this is an example. Stretch your mind. Open and ask, what if? Now, another way of reaching that expanded state is not one that I would recommend, and probably not anyone would recommend or enjoy, and that is through crisis, catastrophic loss, or major setbacks. That is really traumatizing and really scary to go through. I have heard those kinds of situations referred to as seventh chakra experiences or seventh chakra awakenings. Some wiseacre came up with the term cosmic 2x4. It all sounds really bad, okay? And, you know, I used to believe for many years what these titles imply, and that was that there is some great being looking down on us going, oh, God, you know, you're just not getting it, Barbara. I'm sorry, we're going to have some horrible thing happen to you so you'll wake up. You're just not getting it. You're just too dumb. I do not believe that's happening. I do not. If there is only unconditional love, that's not what's going to happen. Stuff is going to happen. Stuff is going to happen. But I do believe it is our response to it that makes the difference. Okay? It's our response. There is something that generally, this is my perception now at this point, is that there's a frequency in me. I am aligning or attuning with something that is the same as that experience, and we got brought together. It's up to me to heal and reharmonize, so I'm not aligning with that experience anymore. What if? And here's the thing, the silver lining in those experiences is, if you have lost everything, or it feels like you've lost everything, you literally have nothing else to lose. If you let go and go, okay, fine, you figure it out, because I'm lost. I'm totally clueless. And the universe will open up, and it will pour you out a blessing. I have been through it, and I'm still going through it. Thing after thing after thing just keeps manifesting. I go, okay, what's next? Oh, okay, yeah, I'll say yes to that. Okay, yeah. And it flows me right up. Is it my timing? No. Heck no. I'd have fixed this long ago if I could have, but I can't. So I let the universe and divine management guide me and show me the way. And as time has progressed, I've become more and more comfortable with that open space of not knowing, of allowing that space so that I can receive. Does that make sense? Okay, good. Okay. So we're going to talk about deconstructing linear thinking. We are taught, again on Earth anyway, there's usually, for most everything, it seems like we're taught there's only one way to do this. There is no other way. Okay? Only one way is going to work. We hear that from teachers. We hear that from society. We hear it from culture. We hear it from financial institutions. We hear it from businesses. Well, you know why? Because they want us to do what they want us to do. These suggestions will hopefully teach you to think not outside the box, but to think as if boxes were never invented. Okay? Things do not have to be the way everybody says and thinks they are. They don't. We don't have to age the way our parents age. It has been proven fear is actually passed through DNA. It's the cherry blossom experiment that some little critters were put into a box with a plate that had a mild charge, and they would produce the scent of cherry blossoms and then give a zap. And these little critters became trained to be fearful when they smelled cherry blossom. A generation later, they were put into the box. Without getting any zaps, they were exposed to a cherry blossom scent and they exhibited fearful behavior. Okay? DNA passes everything along. So it's changing. You can change it. You don't have to age like your parents. Have you seen the advertisements? People 50 plus, and they show a picture of someone who looks like they're 90. I'm like, what? What? And they go and look in the mirror and like, no, that's not me. What the heck? What the heck? It's because they're trying to push us into it, okay, so they can sell us something. That's not. We don't have to age the way society says we have to. Have you, I can't remember what it's called now. Maybe you guys, somebody here might know. There are pockets of, across the world, groups of people. They're all older, like 90 and 100 years old, and they're totally healthy.
Blue zone.
That's what it is, the blue zone. Thank you. Those blue zones. These people are happy, they're healthy, they're active. They're not acting like what we're taught 90 and 100-year-olds and 80-year-olds behave. Not at all. It doesn't have to be the way society says. It doesn't have to be the way anybody says. It has to be the way we say, because we're sovereign over ourselves. Can you buy a house only if you have lots of money and pristine credit? That's not true. I know someone who bought a house with a bankruptcy. It depends on if you can outthink them. That's the thing. Your mind has to be stronger than theirs. You got to say, no, I'm not listening to that. I am not listening to that. I am doing this. Okay? Question your beliefs. Question what you've been led to believe. Even the Buddha himself said, question everything, even if it is something I have said. Question everything. So after you've asked your questions, what's the next step? You create your own definition. I like to go to the dictionary first and see, what does the dictionary say this is? Yes, 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 no. I'll take this part. That agrees with me. If I open the dictionary and I go, no, I don't agree with that at all, I'm using my own. I create my own definition for what I want. I was not raised in a peaceful, happy, loving household. Home does not have a good feel for me. I don't have a positive definition from that experience, but I want my own home. So what I do is I create my own definition, what home, a real home would mean to me, what I would want it to be. What is your dream job, really what you want it to be? What is your dream love relationship, what you want it to be? Your dream car, your dream house, your dream anything, what do you want it to be? Redefine it. And if somewhere down the road your definition changes, then update your definition. Nobody says you can't do that. Okay? Miracles. If you want more miracles, what do you want miracles to be? I was not taught about miracles as a child, at all. I only had gleaned a little bit of information throughout my life, and the definition that I arrived at was, well, they're rare. You have to be in dire, dire need. You have to pray a whole bunch, and maybe you'll get it, maybe you won't. And last year I decided, you know what, I want to have 3 miracles a day. And I decided what I wanted a miracle to be. I wanted it to be something amazing and joyful and fun, something that I might be thinking about, but maybe I'm not thinking about it and it comes anyway. And guess what? I had 3 miracles a day. I changed my definition. I used a shorter measuring stick and changed my definition. So when I see a penny on the ground, to me, that's a miracle. Somebody threw away money. I'm picking that up. That's mine now. That's my miracle. Okay? My little kitty cat jumped out of the car window on Friday. I don't know if it was the morning or the night. And I got out with my flashlight and I was scared for him because he has a dislocated kneecap and he's a black cat. So anything bad could really have happened to him. And I looked all around, I couldn't find him. And then something came in, looked under the car. And I looked under my car, he wasn't there, but he was underneath the truck a few spots away. That was a miracle to me. That was an absolute miracle. That he did not run away, that he did not get snatched up by an animal or a person, that he did not get run down. That was a miracle. So redefine, if you want miracles, what do you want miracles to be? So you can have a bunch of them. Don't use that narrow definition. Define it so that you can get as many, be as greedy as you freaking possibly can, okay? The more you create what you want, the more you prove to yourself that you are unlimited. That's our innate nature, unlimited supply. When you start writing that down, again, I kept a journal. That's how I know I had at least 3 every day. So now we're going to talk about something fun with deconstructing linear thinking. Something I like to call putting the accent on the wrong syllable. Basically, it's seeing things from a really different angle. All right? And I want you to pay attention to your mind. I'm going to say a word. I want you to pay attention to what your mind does. If I say to you, pronunciation, what does your mind do with that? You know what that word is. You know what the definition is. There's nothing new or different about it. My mind puts it in a folder. Oh yeah, I know that word. But if I say to you, pronunciation, what does your mind do? Wait a minute. What? It kind of sounds like that word, but it's not that word. It's something else. Well, maybe I better stop and be quiet and see if there's more. I need more information about that. Did you notice a difference in how your mind is functioning then? Did you open a little bit when I said pronunciation? Because you wanted to know more? Okay? I'm going to tell you a story. This is really funny. Does anybody know